You better tell them or I will. You better tell them. We gon' talk about wrong, right, death, life. Talk about anything you like, you better tell them or I will. You better tell them or I will. You better tell them. We gon' talk about broke, rich, real life-ish. Speaking like this, I can't miss. You better tell them or I will. You better tell them or I will. You better tell them. We gon' talk about the old, young, smart, dumb. Let me show you where I'm coming from. You better tell them or I will.
Word.
You better tell them or I will.
Yeah, man. So the copy is in the solution. You done had you a drink and smoked you a joint, so you buzzing real good. And then what happens with the copy?
So what happens with the copy is when I knew I was.
Should we say what happened to the vagina?
Yeah, because it's like vaginas. They kind of disappeared. So that means, yeah, kind of. My heart was broken when I saw the emulsion slide off the cellulose, which is the plastic part.
Wow.
It just slid down the drain as I poured it. I said, oh God.
Wow.
So I knew. And what happened really is everybody that I'd given copies out.
Okay.
One guy wouldn't give me a copy. Everybody that had a copy refused me access to that copy. So I don't know, if you ask me the grand scheme of things,
Go ahead.
I cannot explain why it never resurfaced.
Mm-hmm.
I've had friends that asked about the photograph.
Mm-hmm.
My name was, remember, this was a permanent copy for the university.
Right.
So my name was already etched into.
Right.
So now my name is etched out of.
Wow.
So, yeah, so it went away. And with that, I went into the service. I just said, I'm sitting in the barber chair in the barbershop one day, and somebody said the Army, and I said, yeah, I know I can work, I can do that for 3 years, and maybe I get a new start.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go in, I do the process of enlisting into the Army because I figured I couldn't swim. Why go into the Navy? And, I didn't, I really didn't even think that through.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
so I go into the Army, and I'm an MP because I'm colorblind and all of these.
No shit.
Okay, well, so I'm to go into the Army as an officer to work in television. This is what my recruiter tells me, but he's a scam artist. Everything that he told me, he lied. And bottom line was, I go in. I finished boot camp, and they tell me you can be an officer, and you're going to be an officer over some troops. And I said, that's not what I came in to work in television. I want to use my experience.
Right.
I said, no. And they said, well, you gave me 3 options. You can either stay in and go in as an officer. You can come in and you can be an enlisted man, or you can get out. And if you get out, you're going to get out dishonorably discharged.
Wow.
So I said, okay, I'll do the 3 years and get out. And that's what I did. And then I got out and went into the Navy as a journalist as a reservist. But that was for 2 years until I found a regular job. Because what I did was, once I got out of the Army, I went to California.
Okay. So you got out. Now, the base that you were stationed at was not in California. You came to California.
I was stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia.
Okay. Wow.
And then I left Fort Benning, Georgia, and moved to California, where my aunt and my uncle live.
Okay. And what year was that?
That was 1981.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're in sunny California.
And and
Still smoking, still drinking?
I am undiagnosed alcoholic addict.
Okay.
I didn't know it, but I was. And then you let my ass loose in Los Angeles, right out the service.
Yeah.
I didn't even have clothes. Now I'm in Los Angeles, and I ain't seen nothing like this, especially as a young man. Now I'm college graduated, and I am military, experienced. So, and now I'm in California. I'm in Los Angeles, and it's on. And I'm saying, man, this is good. I'm rolling now. I didn't figure out how my penis worked. I didn't. No.
Go ahead, bro. You better tell them all.
You know what? The truth of the matter is, it took me a while to figure that out. But once I figured it out, then I wanted to hit everything that moved, and then I had to learn about that too. But that's later on.
Right. Okay.
But at this time, I'm in the height of my addiction.
Right. Okay.
I'm in the height of my addiction, and well, I sought women that were in the heights of their addiction. And so it was fair play.
Wow. Wow.
It was fair, and it was fun.
Now, let's because we got a few minutes. So you in the height of your addiction, 1981, and then everything happens from leaving the military,
absolutely,
to figuring out life, knowing how the penis work, hitting everything, and then something happens where another change happens that has taken you from whatever that change was to sitting in.
So the growth process is, I've been taken up, and now I've been taken down.
Okay, explain, please. Real brief.
So
taken up
to the point where this is really good, to the point where I am doing 360s in my bed, butt naked, crazy than a loony bug. And I just gotten back from Oregon, and and I knew, it was a wonderful time in Oregon. I mean, it was, I went up there with my friend, and we party. Right. I get back, and I couldn't put my body in the same place with my mind. I mean, my mind was over there and my body was over here, but they I couldn't get them in the same place. Okay. And I figured I could talk to my mother, and that would solve it. And because everybody was saying, Jess, you all right? Jess, you all right? But I really wasn't. But I knew if I talked to my mother,
it'd dial in.
And it didn't.
Ooh.
And so then I'm afraid.
Okay.
And I had a friend that we were running the street, and we were hanging, and he disappeared. And then I heard that he was in the hospital.
Okay.
So I called him, and he said, I'll come and get you in the morning.
Okay.
And that was 39 and a half years ago.
Okay. Right on.
And so that's kind of where that process,
started.
So 39 and a half years ago, I stopped using drugs and alcohol.
Word up. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay. And now, because we like, I learned a lot right now, even though knowing you for 16 years, and we done talked a lot so 39 and a half years ago, would it be safe to say the spiritual side of life took off, not saying that you knew it at the day it took off? Meaning the development of spirituality, coming into a whole, letting go of past, forgiving, all this stuff that we do today.
Sean, I'd like to say, yeah, but that's not the case.
Okay.
I was happy to go to a meeting and not cry, first of all.
Okay. Wow.
And then, because there would be people in there laughing and joking, and that's not who I was. I was sitting back in the back of the room, shivering and crying. Eventually, it got better, and I hung around people that were sober and who showed me how to live a sober way of life.
Same way you did for me.
Okay, absolutely, absolutely.
Gotcha. Okay,
Mimi Silver's right there. Okay. So, and so it took time in sobriety to become. So here's an interesting order or a stage.
Okay.
15 years before I moved into the classroom, before I became a teacher.
Okay.
I was sober 15 years. I had been trying before, but
Trying to be sober.
trying to become a teacher.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm
So,
with you.
so initially, at 3 months, I applied for a job in Burbank for the Hollywood studios, and I didn't get that job. I was shivering and I was nervous and all this, and really probably the worst presentation, for Hollywood. So they said no, but. Montclair Plaza was advertised the job for men's suits.
Okay.
I got that job, and people would bring a meeting to me every day, and not only
Wait,
that,
bringing the meeting to you at work?
at work,
Word.
people would come by the meeting and come by my job in men's suits, and I'm up there straightening and people from the meeting, and they come by. And
Okay.
we'd have. I mean, it'd be all day.
I've been with this man 16 years. First time hearing this. You better tell him or I will. Go ahead.
Yeah, but that
At
was
Montclair Plaza.
Montclair Plaza.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead. Wow.
Folks would come by and see me, and I got my clothing together. I'm in, but it's again, God. I believe God moves in and says, "Jess, you got to go." Because I have a friend of mine that says, "Why don't you come work for me?" And I'm saying he wants me to sell cars, and But there's a situation at my job that says, because I made all of the sales things, and my name is in that little paper, paper, and then all of a sudden, now there's a guy that comes in, and he's silver-haired, good-looking white guy, right? Yeah, really, and they love him.
Okay.
But now I'm not loved. They accuse me of stealing.
Oh, shit.
They accuse me of stealing. And I said, I ain't, here we go again.
Here we go with this shit.
Okay. Bottom line is, I move out and take the job with my friend as a car salesman. Bottom line is that guy, the silver hair guy, they find his bottle and they find out that he's actually doing the stealing. So, but what is important to understand is God said it's time for you to go. You can't you ain't supposed to be here. You was here for a minute.
Right.
You know
where you get the term season.
Yeah. Well, okay. So now I move on and I'm selling cars. He moves to Oregon. Okay. He said, "Come work for me."
You go to Oregon?
I go to Oregon.
Right.
I work for him. 3 years later, I come back.
Hold on. 3 years later, you come back because you said to yourself at a certain point, "I'll never take another up." I know this part of the story.
No, that's not. That's later. So what happens is I meet a guy selling cars.
This is in the 3-year window.
In the 3 year.
Okay.
He a black guy. He lived up in Everett, Washington. I did a dealer trade, and
I understand that.
And
you had to get the car from Washington and take him one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So he and I clicked. We clicked. And because, by the way, I remember I'm still in Oregon. I'm in Portland, Oregon. And so that was, so then he tells me, "I'm going back to Belgium, me and my wife. Why don't you come with us?"
Okay.
So I said, okay. Because at first I said, no, I can't. Then I thought, and then I had to get small. And so I had to sell everything. I sold everything. I got small. I went back to Los Angeles to see my mom, say, I'm going to Belgium. She has a heart attack. And so I never leave.
Okay.
I never leave. And so now I'm sober. I've been, so I'm still selling cars 12 years later. I've been selling cars for 12 years. And I'm about to turn 50, and I say, I'm not going to sell a car again. And lo and behold, that's when, I've taken this, to take to teach in California, you have to pass the CBES, and there's several. And for me, I was a social science person, so I had, all of these different areas, English, all of these courses that you had to pass, and there were like 5 of them.
Okay.
And I didn't pass all 5 at the same time.
Okay.
And some of them I had passed, and I remember one of them I had taken that test 5 times. Let me say this. I've taken that, and no one's ever asked me during my teaching career, how many times did you? How long did you?
Right.
It was never that. It was always. It was evident you had to have passed
to get where you was at.
Right, and so I just remember going to my mailbox, and I was in my Tahoe then, and I remember that because of the insulation in that truck when I read pass, and I was.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I was screaming.
Right.
I was screaming, and then from there,
I did that.
And then the next career,
Okay, which was teaching.
Okay,
now with teaching, what is the one thing that you hope for not only younger people, but students, period, to know? If they never see you again, what's the one thing that a student need to understand? Or no, scratch that. What is it they need to know? Because God will take care of the understanding part. Oh shit! Oh man, I'm knocking it.
So that's. I don't know if I can. I'll say this:
Go ahead. You better tell them, or I will.
to be yourself. To seek authenticity, your own authenticity. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you can add, subtract, multiply, divide, if you can read or write, because the truth of the matter is you can learn those things. And if you say to someone, I need help, someone will help you.
Word.
But if you learn to not be impressed by somebody else, so much so that it affects who you are, because a lot of times, trouble comes because we've given people too much authority over ourselves.
Go ahead. Elaborate, brother.
Well, I mean, we pretend to be who we're not. And we're bothered by the fact that my shoes aren't as nice as your shoes or your clothes, or maybe even you speak better than me, or that you're more attractive than me. But the truth of the matter is, it really doesn't matter if you're good with yourself. And because like seeks like.
Yeah, definitely.
You
Birds of a feather flock together.
And if we understand that, too many times in my classroom, a guy would come in, and so my school is my classroom is court and probation, alternative ed, and more often, having been there for a while, people knew me, and meaning that I'm going to be the same.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to be the same.
Sir.
And so they knew coming in how it was going to be. So if they knew that, they knew that I wasn't going to change.
Right.
So either they would, but that when I say I wouldn't change, I always changed, meaning my standards didn't change, but how I presented my standards.
Okay.
I mean, you could cuss me out today, or we could cry today. Doesn't mean that you can cuss me out tomorrow,
okay,
or that we will cry tomorrow.
Right.
I cried with you one time, and I'm not crying with you twice.
Right. Okay.
Now we want to work on the solution.
Yes, sir.
Right. So
Did y'all get that? If you didn't get to go back to the episode about winning or whining or winning. Go ahead, Jess.
No.
Did you see this is where I get this stuff from, man? You understand? You see? Get to the solution, damn it. We only gonna cry about it one time. Go ahead, Jess. My bad.
Well,
this is about you.
the question is, how to, what would I tell a student? And the reality and the truth is, to thine own self be true.
Yes, sir.
And that's not new. Mm-hmm. That's historical.
Historical, absolutely ancient. And it's we gonna dive into that, man. We gonna dive. You better tell them or I will. Huh? Jess W in the building, man.
Let me show you where I'm coming from. You better tell them or I will. You better tell them or I will. You better tell them. We gon' have a deep conversation, probably reach across the nation. I'm getting to the point, be patient. Tell them or I will. You better tell them or I will. You better tell them. Yeah. You are now tuned in to the #1 podcast on the internet. Sean P. You better tell them.